So let's widen this by raising the big questions on the political rumble. Is this therefore really a free and fair election, or is the opposition crying wolf? Should the Election Commission be giving accurate data on votes polled and putting them in the public domain? Has the Election Commission failed to curb divisive speech? Are opposition's fears unfounded? Has the EC done its duty as a true neutral umpire? Joining me now, Anjali Bharadwaj, Governing Council member at Common Cause, social activist. She's among those who's taken this up before the Supreme Court. Rajat Sethi, political commentator who's been associated in the past with BJP leaders. Mohammad Khan is Congress's spokesperson and lawyer. And Sanju Verma, BJP's national spokesperson. Let's come to each of you to get your comments on what you're hearing. Anjali Bharadwaj, since you've gone to the court first, are you saying really that you believe this is not a free and fair election? The EC in its court affidavit today said, why is civil society casting aspersions on a poll process which they claim is foolproof?
Rajdeep, I think what we need to understand is that the petition which is in front of the court today is asking for a very basic and elementary piece of information. What we are saying is that voter turnout needs to be, it's a figure that needs to be shared with the citizens of the country. The phase one of elections, in these current elections, finished more than a month ago. And today people are still in the dark about the exact number of people who went and cast their votes in phase one. Now, phase one, we know there was an inordinate delay in putting out final figures by the ECI. Finally, when they put out the figures, they were in percentage terms. The absolute number of votes polled has still not been given to people for any of the phases. And there has been a sharp spike in the number of votes that was polled, the percentages that has been put out, more than 6%. All of this does raise very legitimate questions and doubts in the minds of citizens. And we know that the best way to allay these kind of fears in a democracy is for the institution to put out information. According to the Election Commission of India itself, the only statutory record which exists of the authenticated voter turnout is Form 17C Part 1. What we are simply saying is that put these 17C Part 1, take a picture or scan it and put it on the ECI's website.
But if the candidates and the agents are not objecting, why are you raising fears? You will be accused of fear mongering. If the candidates have no problem, what is your problem?
Rajdeep, I think what we need to really understand, and we cannot afford to forget in a democracy, is that when elections are happening, people, citizens are the most important stakeholders. Elections are not happening for polling agents or for candidates or for political parties even. People need to have trust in a democracy, in the electoral process. If today, due to various reasons, there are questions, there are doubts that have arisen about the basic number of people who have voted in our elections in the first 4 phases, there is absolutely no reason why the Election Commission of India should just not allay those fears by putting out the authenticated voter turnout, which is available with every returning officer in the country on its website. It will just close the matter. This is really not even about casting aspersions, Rajdeep. This is about basic trust in a democracy. And we know globally it is accepted. Our courts have repeatedly said that people have a right to know. They have a right to information. I don't see why this information cannot be provided to citizens.
Okay, let Sanju Verma respond to that. Sanju Verma, you're hearing activists. This is not politicians, but activists are saying also that they believe that this election has lacked the fundamental quality for a free and fair election, i.e. transparency. That therefore there is dal mein kuch kala. Already before the election there were questions in the manner in which the election commissioners are appointed, the role that the executive has. Now they are raising questions over voter data. Is this somewhere undermining in a way the electoral process and public faith in it, ma'am?
You know, Rajdeep, I'm now getting sick and tired of this entire cabal, this entire cottage industry of social activists, YouTubers, so-called neutral umpires, neutral journalists, people who are beholden to their Padma awards, and have a debt to repay, questioning the credibility of our bona fide statutory agencies. And I am not pointing fingers at any particular individual, but let me have my say. First and foremost, for anybody who needs to know how elections are conducted, let them read Article 324, 325, 326, 327, 328, and 329 of the Indian Constitution. The Chief Election Commissioner and his entire team, they're well within their right not to share Form 17C on a public platform. And the reason is twofold. Point number one, there is no past precedence to it. It has never been done in the past, and it is a good convention. So I don't think this time should be any different. Point number two, it is not a public...
For example, absolute voter turnout was available. Absolute voter turnout was available right away. Total number of candidates total number of voters per constituencies were available. So how do we go to precedent for some things and not for the other? It's about restoring faith in the electoral process, ma'am.
Rajdeep, I heard Anjali Bhardwaj. Not once did you heckle her. Is it so difficult for you to pretend to be neutral? Is it so difficult for you to not heckle Sanju Verma? You do not...
I'm not heckling you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not heckling you. Let's not do this every time. I'm listening to you. Please carry on. No, please carry on. Ma'am, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I have every right to cross-question, but go ahead.
No, you have every right to cross-question after I'm done talking, because I don't see you doing that cross-questioning to the other side. Let me finish and you can question me. I'm here, I'm not running away. And let us start with transparency. Next time Rajdeep Sardesai is on air, let Rajdeep Sardesai say that his spouse Sagarika Ghosh is a TMC Rajya Sabha MP.
I'm happy to say that, ma'am. I have absolutely no problem. You're making it personal again. I couldn't care. I am very clear about it, that what my identity is my own. I ask questions to all. You're making it personal and I have no time for that. Now you carry on.
Yes, I'm not making it personal. I'm just saying that जो लोग यहाँ बैठकर रोज बीजेपी को न्यूट्रलिटी पर ज्ञान देते हैं, you know, they themselves have conflict of interest, and this is not just about you. Now let me come in here. A, there is no past convention where in a general election the Form 17C has been made publicly available. Point number two, the Chief Election Commissioner has said very rightly that under Rule 49V2 of the Representation of People's Act 1951 and under Rule 93 and 94 of the Conduct of Business Rules 1961 pertaining to general elections, Form 17C is not, mind you, it is not a public document and need not be made publicly available. It has to be only given by the returning officer, the RO, to the polling agent, not even directly to the candidate. The polling agent then has the prerogative to share it with the candidate, because the biggest stakeholder in this case is the candidate or the pratyashi who is seeking votes from the electorate. The limited point I'm making is this, Rajdeep, and I will then end in 30 seconds. This entire controversy started with one TMC Rajya Sabha MP Saket saying, "Arey, these elections are rigged." You know, he filed some RTI application. This is the same Saket Gokhale who has been accused of taking crowdfunding during COVID and spending it on personal booze, partying, liquor, what have you, and where this entire narrative.
You need a fact check straight away. This Anjali Bhardwaj, Prashant Bhushan did this well before that. You must get your facts right. I will madam, you cannot come on my program and make wrong facts. You do not like it. You do not like it. I don't care. Okay? Saket Gokhale is not the one who accused. This petition has nothing to do with Saket Gokhale. These are activists who have gone in. Now you can finish. You have 30 seconds to finish. Please do.
I should be getting 45 seconds because you have interrupted me without rhyme or reason. I will repeat. This entire cottage industry of the likes of Saket Gokhale. Then you have somebody called a Jairam Ramesh and Pawan Khera. Pawan Khera says that dhandlebazi hui hai, not in as many words, of 1.07 crore votes. And Jairam Ramesh quickly picks that up and says, oh, that translates into 28,000 votes per Lok Sabha constituency, jiske saath hera feri hui hai. I fail to understand there is an impartial, non-partisan election commission. You doubt its credibility. You started by saying that EVMs are not credible. The Supreme Court clearly said that EVMs don't lie. ex-Congress CEC, T.S. Krishnamurthy, he's a Congress empathizer. He said EVMs don't lie, human beings lie. You said T.S. Krishnamurthy galat hai. You know, basically this entire cabal believes that you will undermine the credibility of Narendra Modi, come what may, because you can see the writing on the wall.
Okay.
The dot alliance is going to be shown the door on the 4th of June.
I've listened to you almost uninterrupted. The problem is when someone interrupts you, you call it heckling. When you shout at people, you expect people to be polite to you. No, madam. No, not at all. Let the audience judge. Why don't you ask the audience who's rude here? Please put up volume down.